Well, Laura joins us now live from Seoul. Laura, good to see you. I mean, as you say, quite a different sort of election. What sort of turnout was there?
A record turnout, the highest turnout in a parliamentary election since 1992. So we're hearing it's about 66.2% of the 44 million eligible voters turned out. Now, as well as the measures you saw there, if you had a temperature that was over 37.5 degrees Celsius, you were moved to a separate polling booth. So they set up a separate voting area for those with a higher temperature. Also, when it came to those in quarantine, there are around 60,000 people currently in quarantine. Perhaps they've come into contact with an infected patient or they're here after returning from overseas. They too were allowed to vote, but only at a certain time, that last hour of polling. They were told to leave their homes at a certain time and be back. They had to call health authorities the minute that they returned home. These measures have taken an army of volunteers, 550,000 people around the country, to try to make sure that everything was in place. But so far, fingers crossed, everything seems to have gone quite smoothly.
Laura, there's been a huge amount of praise for the way in which South Korea has handled this pandemic. Is this also now a test of how the public views President Moon?
Exactly. So these are parliamentary elections. It's 2 years before the next presidential election, but his ruling party is under scrutiny. And so far, and I have to put a big note of caution, we've had exit poll results. Sometimes these can be wrong, but so far it shows or suggests certainly that the ruling party could be on course for an historic win, one of the biggest wins that they've had. Obviously, the votes have still to be counted. And again, I just kind of urge caution with that. But it does seem that they have done rather well. And that may be because people feel that this pandemic has been brought under control. They've seen what's happened around the world. And when those case numbers were ramping up, at one point we're getting 900 cases a day, it's now down to under 20 a day. And I think as people have seen how it's been handled abroad and how it's all handled here, I think they're feeling certainly very thankful.
Laura, thanks so much for joining us and for that update.